Hey, welcome to my booth. I'm Jay. Today's sample, it's from Michelle, and it's a lovely little audiobook snippet from a sci-fi text, and we'll dive in a moment. Before we do, if you want me to take a listen to audio of yours, fill out the form in the description and send me something. There's coaching on my website if you'd prefer that, and if you like this stuff and you find it helpful, you can pay it forward by being here. Thanks for being here. And if you want to go a step further, you can click the YouTube buttons. That's how this place works. And if you're feeling particularly generous and you would like additional access to this sort of feedback now and in the future, you can check out the booth buddies down below or on the Buy Me a Coffee page. Ta-da! That's that. All right, Michelle, save me.
Captain Cito showed herself into Oma's office without knocking and stopped in front of his desk. He frowned.
Captain? Is there a problem?
I want all of my medical records, Cito requested. The doctor gazed up at her.
You've never requested your medical records in the past. Why now?
Cito could read thoughts well enough to know that the doctor sitting before her could no longer be trusted. Every crew member on this ship has access to their medical history except me. Why? His gray eyes beamed back at her.
You're human.
Cito placed her palms on his desk, leaned in and said, Our human records are not compatible with the Vulpus's database? I have a right to review my records. I want everything from the time I was adopted until the present. And I want them now, Doctor.
Nice. Throw it down. The captain's laying down the law. Really solid work, Michelle. I love a lot of the things that you're doing here. The characters, they're doing their stuff, really lived in a lot of respects. The scene plays really nicely. Your pacing's great. So I do have some ideas in terms of performance that maybe could help us dig a little bit deeper. So I'll touch on that in a moment. But first, I just want to touch on one small technical thing. Right now, your noise floor is just a little higher than would be ideal. It's actually a little bit more than a little bit higher. But it's it sounds like you've got like your computer fan going on in the background or something like that. So just as you keep going through and improving your setup, that's one thing that you can focus on that will improve your audio quality overall a fair amount. And other than that, your sound is pretty solid in a lot of respects. So that would be my one major technical thing to focus on is figuring out how to dip down your noise floor. Okay, in terms of performance, again, I love a lot of the stuff that you're doing. And the things that I would love to see us go deeper with or enrich in some way has to do a lot with what are called given circumstances. And what given circumstances are, it's an acting term, but essentially it's like, who is the character? And it can stretch back to where am I coming from right now? So in this scene, where is the captain coming from just before this? And a lot of this may be illuminated in the greater context of this book, but for the sake of the exercise or this description, I guess, of given circumstances, if we took this scene as a standalone piece and we don't have any information either after this scene or before this scene, either manufacturing or understanding given circumstances of the before and after, we should be able to infer in some way as the listener or observer of the scene what's happening before and what's happening after. So examples of that in this scene would be, I'm curious to know like what the hierarchy is on this ship, or culturally even, because it seems like there's some interspecies dynamics going on in some way. The doctor is very clearly not a human, and the captain is a human, and it seems like there's tension between those worlds and those experiences in this way. And knowing exactly why that is and how that affects the characters themselves and how they go through the world can inform how we perform stuff. So in terms of given circumstances, that's one thing, the interspecies stuff, as well as their rank and position on this ship. There's the doctor and the captain in this scene. Does the doctor outrank the captain? Does the doctor not outrank the captain, but feels superior to the captain for some reason? Maybe that has to do with the you're a human thing, or maybe they just think very highly of themselves being the doctor. What does it mean taboo-wise that the captain just barges into the doctor's office? What does it mean that they're requesting their records? And all of those things, the context of that can help me as the listener understand if, for example, the doctor has license to be upset with the captain for coming into the space.
You've never requested your medical records in the past. Why now?
Like if the doctor, another given circumstances on this, as my imagination continues to spool, would be if the doctor is, say, hiding something. We know that they can't be trusted. The captain knows this based off of past experience. But why is that the case? Is the doctor hiding something? Is it malicious? Is it not malicious? All of those things can inform how the doctor responds to this whole situation. And if they have certain tactics, if they want to hide things, if they want to ingratiate themselves to the captain, all this stuff can just help inform me. And you're doing a lot of this already. And I just think we can go deeper in a lot of ways. And then the captain's arc in this scene, I think we can clarify as well with the given circumstances thing. So the fact that they come barging into this doctor's office and demanding their records, understanding if it's a big deal that this happens, if they need their records, if the need for the records is life or death, if it's a major obstacle, all of that information can drive how we would read this. So let's listen to a second.
Captain, is there a problem?
I want all of my medical records.
So I want all of my medical records. You're delivering it really, really well, but just informing it with why we need the medical records and why the doctor is hiding them and stuff like that. Anyway, I think I've said enough on that. But then in terms of the social dynamic, the ranking dynamic, the interspecies dynamics, just how all of that is supposed to play together, and if what we're hearing here, if this scene falls in line with those expectations, or if it runs counter to any of those expectations, or if it weaves in and out, all of that can help enrich and deepen a lot of the information here if we hold that. Let me know if all that makes sense and is legible, but overall, really, really solid work again. And yeah, thanks for enduring my rant and ramble, but that's one of the things that really excites me about work like this. Anyway, great work, Michelle. I hope this was helpful for you and for everybody else out there. Until the next one of these, be well, and I'll see you there. Toodles.